Hey Metro, we're about ready to talk about some pretty adult material right now. As you may know, we are in week number 7 of our series called The Big Ten, and this morning we are discussing the topic of adultery, and we're going to be heading into some areas where our children are probably not supposed to be or to have their little ears here. And so if you have children 5th grade and under, they should already be at Metro Kids, but even if you have junior hires, it's up to you, but we recommend that maybe you would have them head over toward Baxter's right now at this very moment, and our youth staff is going to meet them over there, and they're going to hang out together and maybe even treat them to some ice cream and donuts and whatnot over there. But it just may not be appropriate for them to deal with this kind of stuff this morning. And so as a way to get started on this topic of adultery, we'd love for you to just check this out.
Guess who I did it with last night?
That's what she said.
Look, Jerry, we have to have sex to save the friendship.
Sex to save the friendship.
Believe me, Lemon, I want to take that next step.
You mean like marriage?
No, the one before that.
Moving in together? That's huge.
No, the thing you do before that. Think you in the mid-90s.
You haven't had sex?
A hot lifeguard is like Kleenex. Use once and throw away. You couldn't ask for a better rebound.
Well, Nathaniel, you have a choice. Under the bed or out the window.
What?
My husband just pulled up.
Your husband? I thought he wasn't supposed to be home till next week.
Seems he's home early.
You want to move in with me?
You want to live together?
Well, I mean, I could. I just, if
Yes.
you don't want to, I guess.
Pathetic, isn't it? A married woman cheats on her best friend with her husband.
These things happen.
Don't make me send you another memo about my policy on intra-office dating.
It's intra-office dating. And they're not dating, they're having sex.
You didn't have makeup sex? How could you not have makeup sex?
I heard they made out and had sex.
Dude, they just made out.
I banged this girl right here.
That's her?
Yes, this is the one. You remember?
No, the
yes.
party? You
yes.
banged her?
Right here. You are a
Wait,
naughty
wait,
girl. Oh my God! Put on a shirt. I told you that you'd be on camera. I'm sorry, she's European. No, I told you that you'd be on camera. Stop.
I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. We're going to call him Joe. It's not his real name. We're going to conceal his identity because we're going to get to know his story, and his story is a story of a sexual addict, and it's all very real. It's all very intense. It's more of a summary story of everything that we have been talking about this morning. And so this has deep implications, not only for his life, but for all of our lives as well. And so let's get to know Joe a little bit. Joe, where did it all begin for you?
I was raised in a Christian household. My mom pretty much raised me. My dad traveled a lot. We went to church every Sunday. I knew about God, enough about God to actually be ashamed later on in life and feel guilty, but he really wasn't part of my life.
And so where did the sexual story begin for you?
Well, it began when I was about 7 years old. The girl up the street and her older sister enticed me to play the childhood, curiosity game of show me yours and I'll show you mine.
So they approached you?
Yes, they did.
And then where did it lead from there?
Well, when I was 10 years old, I discovered my uncle's Playboy collection in a back closet at my aunt's house. And I spent a lot of time every time we went to my uncle's house looking at the magazines.
And so you stumble on this adult pornography, and this just really kicks things into high gear for you. It goes beyond just childhood curiosity. Now you have moved into the adult world. And where did it go from here?
Well, when I was in junior high, I started getting these obscene phone calls. I don't know who they were from.
So just completely out of the blue?
Completely out of the blue. This girl would just call me and I didn't really know what to do with the phone call. I didn't know how to process this information. I was confused and excited at the same time, but more confused because it was delving into an area that I wasn't familiar with. And from there, it just kind of fueled my addiction to seek out pornography.
And how did you come across, even years ago at a young age, how did you come across some of that pornography?
Well, when I was right about the same time, I had a paper route, and at the local gas station in the morning, they had racks of adult magazines that were sitting out.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
And the attendant didn't care that I looked at it. So on Sunday mornings, I would stop in the gas station and flip through the pages of the magazines. It was no longer just naked women like it was in the Playboys. It was your Penthouse, your Hustler, your hardcore.
So just more hard. Yeah.
Right.
And so all of a sudden you're introduced to this adult world, and you're finding out that girls can be very aggressive as well sexually.
Yes, as a matter of fact, when I was in high school, the first couple of years in high school, a couple of the girls that I tried to date actually wanted to have sex on the first date. And when I wouldn't have sex with them, they broke up with me, said, "No, I don't want to see you anymore," and tell all their friends, and basically word got around and I got made fun of.
So you weren't ready to go into this sexual world like that?
No, not yet.
And when did that begin to change for you?
Well, when I was about 15, I ended up dating a girl. She was a couple of years younger than I was. And
just a kid?
Yeah, she was 13, I was 15. And we ended up, after 3 or 4 months of dating, we ended up having sex.
And so once you got the taste of sex physically, it just started to ramp up in your life. It just took over.
Yeah, I spent the rest of my high school years just chasing after girls, not for a relationship, but just to have sex with. And they were more than willing.
It was everywhere, and just free.
Yep, and then, porn became an active part of my life, and all shapes and forms of pornography. Even after high school, when I went to college, I took 10 years to get a 2-year degree. It wasn't about the education, it was about the parties and the girls and chasing girls.
And so this literally just consumed who you were.
Yeah, it was pretty much what I was about. That's how my friends knew me.
And then you met a girl who you thought was strikingly different, who might be able to help change you.
Yeah, I met the girl that unfortunately is now my ex-wife. She was different than most of the girls that I had dated. She was not interested in jumping right into bed with me. She was interested in having a real relationship. And I was getting older, and the random sexual liaisons with people were starting to get old, so I thought, maybe this is what I need. Maybe.
So you had an emptiness inside of you that you really couldn't even define, but it was there, and it wasn't being fulfilled in this sexual world, and so this was different for you.
Right, I thought settling down, having a home and the kids, that would bring me fulfillment that I wasn't getting in my past relationships. And besides all that, I thought, when you get married, you have sex every night, right?
So you found out that's not always true.
Right. As a matter of fact, after we got married, the sex dwindled down to practically nothing, and I was quite surprised because I expected to get married and have sex all the time, just what I thought the normal couples did, and that's not what happened. She did it wrong, but I did it wrong too, and I made some bad choices on how to deal with the situation.
And what did you do?
I went back into pornography. The internet, it was just popping into existence then, so I started surfing the internet, surfing porn, and then it expanded into going into chat rooms and having chats with people online. And it didn't take long after that to start chatting about meeting up with some of these people online.
And one thing leads right into another.
Exactly. It wasn't too much longer after that I ended up meeting with somebody online and had an affair. And that affair led to 2, and led to 3, led to 5, led to 10, led to 20.
Wow.
And then I started chatting online with people that were part of sex groups. And I started getting invited to those parties. And then the numbers went up, way up from there, 30, 40, 50, 60.
Wow. Just an out of control life.
Completely out of control.
So you have literally countless numbers of affairs, and your wife didn't know anything about this?
No, didn't know anything about it.
You hit it off from her?
Yep.
Unbelievable. And then it all changes.
Yeah, I had a conversation that went completely wrong, and just the way I was so delved into this adult life, I just made a couple of bad choices, and I ended up getting arrested, and I ended up doing time.